All right. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Paper Cat Books Facebook page. You guys are in for a treat because today we have a very intriguing book launch just for you today. Hi, guys. I'm Cor Carlos, and I'm happy to be your host for today's event. So, 2 o'clock na, guys. This is your 2 o'clock habit. Making sure that you tuned in to Paper Cat Books Facebook page because it's time for our author takeover this October. That's right. Author takeover time. So, malapit na kayong makabingo. We have 4 great authors and 4 great new books to devour for this month. So, today we are on our third author and then we have one more. So, lapit na tayong bingo! Ayan. So, dun sa mga namumuro na, comment down below. Sino yung has been present since day 1? And now we are on author number 3 and then on October 30, author number 4 tayo. All right. So once again, welcome everyone to October Authors Takeover. 4 great virtual book launches happening Saturdays of October. All right. All right. So, konting kwentuhan muna tayo before we introduce our next author for today. So, as you know, andito pa rin tayo sa pandemic, but things seem to be shaping up for a bit because if you've been sumusubaybay sa mga ganap, level 3. Ayan, level 3 na tayo today. So, we feel a little bit more more movement coming in but still, meron pa ring mga quarantines in place. But of course, if you've been watching ang ating series, ayan, ang Philippine serye, ayan, level 3 tayo starting today. And of course, during the pandemic, marami na rin mga taong, have used this time to take advantage of a lot of new things to learn, di ba? Aminin, ang daming nag-pop up na online classes and people realize that they might not have this much free time. Hindi naman talaga siya free time, but a little bit more time to look for new things to learn through free and paid webinars or courses and to get their hands on, things that they didn't really had time to do before. For some people naman, it took the pandemic for them to realize that life is short. So they went ahead and enrolled in courses or tried new things that they've never done before. So for some people, I know it's cross-stitching, di ba? May knitting, ayan, nagbabalik. Ang baking, of course, made a comeback. Bread making, online barista courses, and of course, our very favorite, writing and self-publishing, di ba? So lots of new things that we have been learning on the side and, living this quote-unquote secret lives. Kasi, yun nga, some of them hindi naman alam ng madlang people that you've been learning pala or on your spare time, you spend some time to learn things that you haven't learned before. So that is our parang question for you today and the theme for today's virtual book launch. What new skills have you been secretly learning and studying during this pandemic? So once again, please comment down below. What are you learning? Ikwento nyo sa amin ang inyong secret life. What have you been using your weekends for? And you just might win a prize. Later on, we will share with you ano ang pwede nyong mapanalunan if you comment down below and share your responses with us today. O, diba? All right. So, ready na ba kayo? Ayan. Because today, some of us have learned some secret skills and today we want to air those secrets out. Just like our author today. Meron siyang mga secrets na sikretong ibubunyag. So we want to get to know our author and know more about him and what he is secretly learning. So are you ready? Let's dive into the world of our third author. And I know you can't wait to meet him. So let's go right ahead. Our guest author for today takes pride in his career as a journalist, working for various and print and broadcast companies since he graduated from the University of the Philippines, Baguio, and is now currently a news writer for a government news website. Outside the journalism field, he takes up food blogging, crime fiction, and poetry, and indulging in a little bit more during his spare time. So please welcome our guest author for today and launching his book, Mark Manalang. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Core. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my detective agency, I guess. And thank you for coming to the virtual book launch of my book, The Secret of Derek Guerrero. I'm glad you are all able to spare some time with me. And we have a lot of things to talk about regarding crime fiction and writing and mm, our secret hobbies and endeavors, especially during this pandemic. Oh, by the way, good job everyone for making it this far. COVID-19 has been giving us a hard time, pero I'm glad to see that we're doing our best, improving ourselves, living for our families, and advancing through our careers and our personal lives. So I guess being here with all of you now is a blessing. Which is why
Indeed.
let's enjoy what time we have here. Let's talk about the Secret of Derek Guerrero and everything about crime fiction.
Indeed, and everything in between. Kaya nga very intriguing ang ating Saturday today. And of course, with our guest author, Mark Manalang, who's gonna, introduce us to his world of crime fiction and more. Ayan. And oo, tama yan, Mark, no? Congratulations everyone for making it thus far. Ayan, inilaban nyo, you swam through and we are here today. So, Mark, let me ask you, how about you? What have you been up to? What's keeping you busy? How have you been?
Let's see. Well, ever since the pandemic started, I've kept busy. For, I'm a government employee, so I'm obligated to report to work
Uh-huh.
to go to the office and write news as usual for our programs. I'm trying my best to make it through this pandemic as well. So
Mhm.
outside my work, I've been delving into a lot of my old hobbies, especially the ones that I wasn't able to sustain at first. Mm, I started reading a lot of books again. Lately, I've been reading light novels, books about writing. The latest books I've been trying to read are the detective and thriller novels of Richard Castle. For those who know Richard Castle, you will know and understand what I mean. I've been watching some TV series on Netflix and some anime that I wasn't able to catch up with for a while. Mm, I've also taken up. It's actually a bit embarrassing because I don't have the physical capability for it, but I'm self-studying flamenco. I've started.
What?
Uh,
Mind blown.
okay, okay. The reason I said it's embarrassing is because flamenco not only takes up a lot of stamina, and you also have to be a bit musically inclined. You have to follow the rhythm, the speed of the movements, and you also have to have really strong knees, which I don't have right now because and my knees are aching even right now.
But
Well,
that's great, Mark. Ah. Don't be ashamed. That's really very cool. Mark Manalang, goes a hard-hitting writer at work, making sure that news is delivered kasi, news never sleeps, and then finds the time to practice and learn flamenco. Mic drop. Daming pasabog ni Mark, you guys.
aside from flamenco, since I have my knee problems, I'm self studying Tai Chi. I'd like to recommend this part.
Okay.
Jet Li has a series of classes about Tai Chi on YouTube. I've been following those classes for some time. They're really difficult, but when you're able to practice everything, you can actually feel the flow of the energy and the lightness of your physical and spiritual well-being that goes in practicing this art. And I try to temper my body a bit by taking up kendo. Sometimes
Kendo.
I have my
Oh,
own
wow.
sword right here. It's a wooden sword. It's actually a bit of a anime merchandise. For those who know the anime Gintama, this is the main character's sword. But it's actually good enough for sword practice. It's a bit heavy if you're not able to practice lifting a lot. But the good thing about practicing sword fighting is that it like Tai Chi. It tempers your body. It clears your mind. Helps you focus on not only on your movements but also on maintaining your own discipline partly so that you can be able to perform all those fancy sword strikes and all, but most importantly, you're able to make your body healthier and stronger, and you can actually feel better about yourself because you can wield a sword. You can use a sword. That's the most basic thing, I guess.
Ang bongga naman ni Mark. Ang dami niyang mga revelations, secrets, or kumbaga parang ang galing, no? Nakaka-inspire. So, guys,
Hmm.
walang excuse na wala, natulog lang ako, nasa bahay lang, hindi ako makalabas. Because, kahit na masakit ang tuhod ni Mark, nag-flamenco. Ayan. Kahit,
Yeah.
kahit na mabigat, nag-kendo. Oh,
Mm. Pero
mic
pero ang
drop.
mm, pero ang pinakamabigat siguro na bagay na kinailangan kong i-practice ulit throughout this pandemic is I'm a I'm a writer through and through. I've
Right.
been writing for so long, and ever since I started fiction writing, I found myself liking it more and more. So nung dumating itong pandemic, I realized that I've had more time to to practice and learn new genres. And as of late, I've started practicing writing romance. It's not my genre. I'm only self studying, but I'm doing my best to do well hopefully in this genre. I've been reading a lot of romance books and taking notes about on pointers on how to become an effective romance writer. What makes a nice couple? All the romance tropes like the meet cute and the usual boy meets girl formulas. There's a lot to take in for someone who's a non-romance author like me, or someone who has been writing crime all this time. But it's been a fulfilling endeavor for me.
Very inspiring indeed. So once again, that's it. That's another like great story or great revelation. Si Mark, who's been really deep into crime fiction, is now learning romance. Tas may pa-meet cute pa si Mark. O, 'di ba? San ka pa? Inaaral niya yun lahat. So, very inspiring na you can always like
Thanks.
constantly learn new things. Like even though yun nga, sabi mo, you've been into crime for a long time, but what's stopping you from learning romance, 'di ba? Oh, 'di ba? Galing ah. And naisip ko lang, Mark, very very unique, romance writing from point of view of a male. Boom.
We have a lot of male romance writers, especially in the
Mhm.
international market. Let's see, Nicholas Sparks, di ba?
Mm.
We can start from him. There are many others that I haven't discovered, pero they're just as effective. There are a lot of people who have proven themselves to be effective romance writers, and I'm trying my best for trying for now, doing later to follow these kinds of writers.
That's right. And very unique, no? Yun nga. A very unique point of view, and we're excited to learn more about your journey. Meron lang ako nabasa quickly. Nako, kabahan na tayo. Kasi si Mark, pagdating sa productivity and learning new things, parang ang daming pwedeng puntahan, ang daming pwedeng gawin. So, kabahan na tayo, guys. Ayan na, joke lang. So, speaking of writing and self-publishing, ito naman yung mga gusto namin itanong sa'yo. Kasi earlier, you shared a little bit about who Mark Manalang is and the things that you've been learning, and itong mga secrets or pivots that you've been doing during the pandemic. So, thank you for that. So, this time around, let's hear a little bit more about your writing and self-publishing journey. So, um, where did you get started?
Hmm. My writing journey, or let's start with my career. I've been writing journalism since elementary school. I began because I was a feature editor in my elementary school's paper, and then in high school I started practicing writing poetry and essays. Pero I did my best to read more books about journalism, journalistic writing. Mm, I tried to read as many papers as I can, partly to pick up styles, and at the same time to know how journalism writing works in the real world, so to speak. Then when I went to college, my first choice was broadcast journalism, pero broadcast journalism in UP Diliman was a quota course, so I ended up in UP Baguio, where I had to take up a mass comm major in journalism. So pretty much set my career path straight. And after graduation, I ended up. I think it was about just a month afterwards. Or so. I worked for a newspaper in Baguio City, and then after some time, I moved back to Manila to work on broadcast. Pero I think the highlight of my career was when I started diversing to fiction writing. I sta- I thought that I'd like to try out writing fiction in a genre that I'm most comfortable with, and and I ended up writing crime fiction. And well, it was something close to me, since I had a lot of experience being a police beat reporter. So most of my experiences and learnings from my career found a way to the stories I have been writing up to this point. And
Very interesting police beat stories. So parang yun ang naging inspiration. So was that your was that your first salvo into the world of crime fiction, or parang ever since you were drawn to that genre? How did it start for you?
well, the first time I wrote crime fiction, well, officially, was when I joined the when I joined an anthology. It was created by just right PH. It was a collection of stories of romance, crime, mystery, supernatural fiction. I remember a bit too perfectly that my section of the anthology was even rated. It was given an adult rating because it was really brutal crime that I ended up writing. But that story, it's called The 7 Day Detective. It's by the way, it's about a rookie cop who teams up with a group of PUV drivers, public utility vehicle drivers, and they try to solve a serial rape case in 7 days. When I published that, well, it was a small step, but the more I planned for possible sequels and spin-offs for it, the more I became invested in creating my own universe. And several stories later, I ended up with my first series, Sampaguita, and then this latest book, The Secret of Derek Guerrero.
Yun pala yun. So, kumbaga, Mark is the real deal, you guys. Yung mga very hardcore crime fiction writing, hindi Scooby-Doo, but the real thing, police, detectives. He was right there. Ayan. And speaking of, crime fiction, was there, some inspiration, other authors, um, personalities that inspired you to get deep into the crime fiction world?
Hmm. I think it's a bit surprising that when I learned about it at first, but Anthony Bourdain. Well, we all know Anthony Bourdain as a celebrity chef and
Yeah, the
a
chef.
food critic and all. But I learned some time ago when I was first learning crime fiction that he also writes crime. Most of them are
Mm.
culinary themed crime stories. I even
Oh,
I, I even have some of his ebooks right now, and one of my favorites is Bone in the Throat. It's about a chef who gets entangled with the Italian mafia.
wow.
And I like Anthony Bourdain's storytelling. It's vivid. There's a lot of imagination at play. You can actually feel the sensation of let's say being in a restaurant that he's describing, or smelling the flavors of whatever's cooking around you, or the people, and the kind of personalities that that are at play at every scene. He whether it was his food writing or his crime fiction, they were really they were all really exciting, and that much inspired me to improve my writing and become, well, not nothing. I cannot be like him, but I can at least follow his standards, I guess. Hmm. Apart from, well, let's see. Apart from Anthony Bourdain, I've also tried reading different works from different other authors.
Right.
Of course, we have Edgar Allan Poe, mm, the Sherlock Holmes books by Arthur Conan Doyle. Mm, I also discovered a really good author. His name is Maurice Leblanc. For He's the author who created the character called Arsène Lupin, the gentleman thief. Anime fans right out here would probably know Lupin the Third. Arsène Lupin is the real deal, the
Mhm.
original. Mm, it's a bit embarrassing, but I
Bakit
also
naman?
I another inspiration of mine was Snoopy. I
Snoopy. The beagle?
yes, the Beagle. Uh, we all we know that Snoopy has this popular persona, the world famous author, and what I liked about him is he writes as much as he can. He's really imaginative. He churns out as many words as he can. He tries out a lot of genres. The thing is, he never gets published, almost never gets published, but that didn't stop him from writing and making new stories. In the comic strips, they're even it even came to the point that publishers already give him rejection letters even before he gives them his manuscripts. But that that didn't stop him from writing. I like that part of Snoopy's persona and personality, which is why he became one of my favorites.
That's once again another very surprising inspiration, no? So you would think, ano eh, uh, you would never think na ang inspiration pala ni Mark for this is Snoopy and Anthony Bourdain. So dami tayong natututunan kay Mark. Ang dami nating mga secrets unveiled. Ayan. And inspiration can come from everywhere. Ika nga. And speaking of inspiration, usually, you also get inspiration from groups, right? Parang people of like-minded individuals coming together. So how about in your case? Was there like a group that you got inspiration from that helped you in this genre?
Mm. Well, I owe this group a lot for my growth as a crime fiction author. This group is called Heist Club. It was let me give a bit of background. Heist Club was introduced in 2015 by Mina Isguera and Bronze Age Media Incorporated. Uh, when we were asked to write our crime stories, the condition that it was supposed to be case number one, which means we are supposed to start a series. Now, there were 16 of us who made it to publication, and then 13 of which, including mine, became standalone novellas. And we learned that we at Heist Club learned from different kinds of resources, fellow uh, fellow writers, experts in different fields, mm, teachers in fiction writing. And then aside from a learning group, we also do our best to inspire each other, push each other to write. And then we at times we have a lot of discussions about how about writing crime fiction, and crime fiction in general, the situation in the Philippines even. And we use everything we talked about and learned to be able to write stories and polish the ones we are writing.
Wow, that's good to know na yun nga, parang meron palang, bustling community of crime fiction here in the Philippines, started by one of your inspiration authors, and I think inspiration din ni Kath, si Mina V.S. Guerra, who also happens to be my cousin actually. So,
Mm. Yeah,
it's a small world after all.
it's a small world.
Ite-text ko siya mamaya, sabi ko, ate,
Mm.
ano ginagawa mo sa Heist Club? Na joke lang.
Mm.
But yeah, Heist Club and Bronze Age Media, I remember that time. And now, romance class naman, di ba? Yung kanyang
Yes.
um,
Mm.
club ngayon. But
Mhm.
speaking of a Heist Club, we do have some messages from your Heist Club teammates on their thoughts about crime fiction in the Philippines, and of course, your
Mhm.
new book, The Secret of Derek Guerrero. So, why don't we go ahead and watch this?
Hi! Mark invited me to talk about crime and police procedural in the Philippines. I'm part of Heist Club, a group of writers who write about crime in the Philippines. And I've written two stories. One is called Bayawak's Trail, and the other one is called On Rose, the untold story of the Imelda Marcos jewelry heist. Okay, so in the Philippines, we don't have a robust law and order system. So that's just not realistic. Like what F.H. Batacan did with her book Smaller and Smaller Circles, we just work with what we have. Even the famous film On the Job, it's the same thing. We make do with existing systems and we find other agents to do the problem solving or the crime solving. So in the case of F.H. Batacan, they were a couple of Jesuit priests. And in my story, Bayawak's Trail, it was an anthropologist and a photojournalist who did the crime solving. So, yeah. And in my other story, the untold story of the Imelda Marcos jewelry heist, I used the son of an insurance magnate to do the crime solving as well, or the heist. Sorry. So you need to find a way to work with how to do a crime or solve a crime in the Philippines. So just because we have an imperfect system, it doesn't make our stories less compelling, right? So we just work with what we have. And that's it. Thanks for listening. And I hope Filipinos continue writing in this genre. It's very exciting. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Georgette Gonzalez. I'm an author of romance as well as some crime fiction. I think we do have a market for crime fiction in the Philippines because even as a reader, I get excited about reading about police procedurals and stuff. Even my choices in television series or movies would be geared toward that. Well, of course, aside from romance. I think what is lacking is the proper channels for promotion. So I hope we do get that. There are a lot of writers out there like Mark, congratulations by the way, who are willing to get into this. So support Filipino authors. Thank you.
That was pretty cool. And ang ganda nung mga messages din nila Mark. So, yun nga, support Filipino authors, hindi man yung crime system natin here in the Philippines might not be as advanced as others, but that doesn't mean our stories are not as thrilling. Ano bang masasabi mo doon?
Of course, Bagay, and I'd like to thank the Heist Club authors for supporting me here in this book launch, and for these video for the video we're using right now. We've been like I said a while ago, we've been talking about crime fiction and crime and the peace and order situations in the Philippines. Hindi lang kasi police procedurals yung talagang patok sa panlasang Pinoy, but also there's a lot of drama involved in every crime na talagang tagos sa puso natin, in a way. A long time ago, we had let's see, there was Calvento Files on Channel 2, and then right now we have Soko Investigador, and then Ipaglaban Mo, although it's a legal drama, pero there's a lot of true crime involved. Lahat yun naging inspirasyon namin, plus a lot of other crime related reading material. Pero what my fellow authors said a while ago stands. Back then when we started Heist Club until now, it's the part that we are trying to make do with what we have regarding law enforcement and crime solving. We don't have a lot back then. We don't have a lot of avenues to get our works out. By our works, I mean crime fiction authors like me. Well, we do have let's see, we have a bit more of a, let's see, supernatural crime, mystery, and crimes with fantasy settings, but straight crime fiction we are trying to do. Well, we didn't have a lot of ways to get those stories out. Well, that was until a few years ago, and even recently, when smaller and smaller circles by F.H. Batakan and now On the Job became popular, and now we have a lot of TV series and books that are about crime or in heists and solving cases. We also look up to the crime fiction of from international authors, but we still we are still doing our best to be able to make our own brand, our Filipino brand of crime fiction.
That's right. It's so inspiring to see na parang recently, no, there has been clamor to shed light naman, you know, give Filipino authors a chance. Kasi usually we
Mm.
look to the West, we look to the West for crime fiction stories. But as of late, and because of the new things that have been coming out, parang nakaka-proud na finally more Filipino fiction writers are coming out. And as you said, hindi lang maraming pwedeng puntahan yung crime fiction. You mentioned it could
Mm.
go fantasy, it could go crime fiction romance. Parang ang daming pwedeng parang combinations to make it really unique and stand out. Galing.
Mhm.
So, sa ating mga viewers out there, if you want to explore a new genre, why not crime fiction? And you can have a group, or you can ask Mark, tulungan mo nga ako, i-brief mo nga ako diyan. Ayan. Ano bang mga pwede kong basahin, to get inspiration about crime fiction? And because of that, meron tayong gagawing mini game so that Mark and I can get to know how well do you know crime fiction. Ayan, in this game we called Crime Fiction Trivia. So again, Mark and I want to know how well do you know your crime fiction. Ayan, in this very simple game. And then to enlighten you on more, I have the best person right here. Mark is gonna, give you a little bit more. But if you want to know more about this genre or know about this author, he can give you, a crash course to it. All right. So to all our viewers, it's gonna be easy. Just type the letter of your answer in the chat box, and then later on we'll find out how well do you know your crime fiction. All right. So if you're ready, let's go right ahead and ask our first question. Our first question is, and you can answer this if you've been listening attentively to our VBL today. What is the first modern Filipino crime novel? Is it A, The House on Zapote Street by Quijano de Manila, B, Smaller and Smaller Circles by F.H. Batacan, or C, The Lacademo Murder Mystery by Dr. Alfred Worm? First modern Filipino crime novel, A, B, or C? Please let us know in the chat box your answer. Let's give them time to answer. A, B, C lang yan, mga friends. Ayan. Let us know, what is the first modern Filipino crime novel? A, Houses on the Pote Street. B, Smaller and Smaller Circles. Or C, The Lacademo Murder. Ayan. Ayan. I'm seeing some responses. All right. But of course, we will find out the correct answer. All right. And the correct answer is
Smaller and Smaller Circles by F.H. Batacan. Letter B.
So ano bang pwede mong i-chismis sa amin dito about this book, Mark?
Ayun. Well, actually, F.H. Batacan was one of the mentors of Heist Club, and she was one of the authors who gave us pointers on writing crime fiction when we were starting way back then. We had to read the Smaller and Smaller Circle as one of the requirements for Heist Club. And when I first read it, it was actually mind blowing. There's a lot of depth in the Philippine forensic scene. Is by that I mean we are trying our best with what little we have in harvesting DNA evidence, in inspecting murder victims and other items in a crime scene. And then of course we have the characters are who are in, in not only inspiring, but there's there's something in their personalities that makes them more familiar. Not only because the book gives us a closer look at their thought processes and personalities, but I guess it's more because they're mostly they're Filipino. They're like someone close by, someone we know, someone we can easily relate to. So
That's
and
true.
mhm.
So, ayan. If you want a crash course, please, make sure to read this or dun sa mga nakabasa na ng book, let us know. Because I heard this is also currently in Netflix, no? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Parang there was a time. Yeah.
yes, it's the I think yeah, it's the movie which played which played a few years ago until pa- actually oh nga no ngayon I haven't been checking Netflix for a bit, so gusto ko ring makita siya ulit eh. I already
Yeah.
I saw the movie already, pero I want to rewatch.
Yes, it's time for a rewatch. I think everyone knows what they're watching tonight. Ayan. And thank you for the comment section for helping confirm that yes, Smaller and Smaller Circles is also on Netflix now. So, it's again, if you book or movie, parang to get us in the mood of, crime fiction authors in the Philippines. And of course, The Secret of Derek Guerrero. Wink, wink. All right, question number 2. Let's get right on to it. The next question is, again, if you've been watching the VBL, na-mention ni Mark na si Anthony Bourdain is not only a celebrity chef, but also known for writing crime fiction. So the question for you guys is, how many crime stories did he write in total? So, kahit humula na lang kayo, ayan. Or kung alam nyo talaga, please let us know if it's letter A, 3, letter B, 5, or letter C, 13. So, ilan ang sinulat ni Anthony Bourdain? Please let us know in the comments your answers. I want to see your answers. Ayan, so okay, most answers are at the 3. Okay, I hear ya. So, gaano ba ka-prolific si Anthony Bourdain? B, may nag-B na. Mostly A's and B's ang ating, there's a C, 13. Ayan, 13 nga ba? All right, so to answer the question, and so for this question, the correct answer is, Mark?
Letter B. There are actually 5 crime stories that Anthony Bourdain wrote. And let me expound on that one. Anthony Bourdain wrote, like I said a while ago, he not only wrote about food, but he was also into crime fiction. I mentioned a while ago Bone in the Throat, which I have been reading, but he had other titles like Gun Bamboo, the Bobby Gold stories, and then he had 2 graphic novels, Get Jiro and Get Jiro Blood and Sushi, the prequel. Well, speaking of Get Jiro, I actually have a copy. It's a really compelling story. Well, it's about a sushi chef who gets entangled in a fight between 2 crime families, and he himself is not a slouch because aside from being a great sushi chef, he also has his own way of eliminating his enemies, especially those who do not respect sushi etiquette. Which means, for example, if you are the type who puts wasabi in soy sauce, he's going to kill you because that's a no, and he will and if he sees you doing that, he'll do just that. Yun.
So you gotta respect the way, the right way of doing sushi, or else. So very interesting, no? So si Anthony Bourdain was able to siguro marry din his parang passion for food and crime fiction, and that was exactly a sample of that, yung Get Jiro. So ang galing, no? Kakatuwa. Ang dami nating natututunan kay Mark. Okay, one more. Mark wants you to learn one more thing about crime fiction in our next question right here. In the anime Detective Conan, again, for the anime lovers out there, dapat masagot nyo to, paging anime lovers out there, Okay, Detective Conan, Shinichi Kudo takes a pseudonym from which famous author? Dapat masagot nyo to. Itaas ang bandera. Ayan. Is it letter A, Robert Howard and Edgar Allan Poe? B, L. Sprague de Camp and Taro Hirai? Or C, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Edogawa Ranpo? Okay, A, B, and C lang yan, you guys. So please let us know in the comment section and represent. Anong inspiration ng name ni Detective Conan? Ayan. So okay.
Anda,
There seems to be a lot of answers right now, Mark.
Detective Conan fans, taas ang kamay.
Represent, because the correct answer is, of
You
course,
should know already, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Edogawa Ranpo. That's letter C.
and ano bang kwento dyan, Mark?
Yun. If I don't remember the exact episode. I think it's actually episode 1 pa nga eh. Pero when Shinichi Kudo was turned into a little boy, and then he almost risked getting his real identity exposed. So he picked up from randomly from a library he saw in the scene, if I remember correctly. In any case, the names he saw were Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Edogawa Ranpo. Of course, we know Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of the Sherlock Holmes books. Now Edogawa Ranpo, well, he's also one of the most prolific writers in Japan, and and of course he's into crime and mystery, and he also inspired a lot of Japanese authors to band together and become and promote Japanese crime fiction. I guess just like a heist club, you know? So, yeah,
There you have it. So ayan, how well did you do? I-check ni Mark ang mga sagot ninyo. Did you get 3 out of 3, 2, 1, or 0? Ayan. How well do you know your crime fiction? If 0, ayan, you gotta, message Mark, help me out here. Ano bang mga pwede kong simulan? There you go. That was a fun session, wasn't it, Mark? Malalaman natin ang mga well-versed in crime or mga kailangan pa nating i-review. Ayan. So, yan. So, thank you guys for participating in our mini game with our resident crime fiction author, Mark Manalang. Now, we do have another segment for you guys. Earlier today, and actually a few days ago, we did release a question that we want you to answer. And once again, let me remind everyone what that question is and what they can win. So once again, the question is, what are you secretly learning and studying during this pandemic, right? And what can they win, Mark, if their answer is chosen?
Okay. The best answers for this question will receive copies of my first ever book in the Sampaguita series. Is titled Sampaguita, this city is crying. It is going to be your gateway to the world of the Secret of Derek Guerrero. So I would really recommend you to read this book if you ever get your hands on it, and then try reading it with alongside the Secret of Derek Guerrero, and you will see that well how related they are, how how their stories blend with each other.
Mhm. So definitely a must read. So you gotta like answer the question or get your hands on the book, no? So before we dive into some of the responses, I still want to talk to Mark about this book that we're launching today. So Mark, eto na. Can you please tell us a little bit about The Secret of Derek Guerrero? Ano bang pwede mong i-teaser or i-share about what this book is about?
Okay. Uh, the Secret of Derek Guerrero, like I said a while ago, is is related to the Sampaguita series, and pretty much a lot of the books, or no, all of the stories I've written so far, they belong in the same universe, and the Secret of Derek Guerrero is one of them. Now, our titular character, Derek, he's a crime author and a reporter, just like me, but he wants to write romance. He he wanted to write romance that is different from the usual stories out there. The ones like he's not a believer of the killing factor. For example, he wants to he wants a story that is a more realistic, that is more in tune to what couples really feel when it comes to loving each other. Now, he get no because it's not his genre. Romance is not in his genre, he gets some help from another author, a best selling romance writer named Kim Velasquez. They have there's a lot of tension between them at first because Derek Derek was not a fan of the usual type of romance writing, and Kim embodies just that kind of writing style. But they do find something in common. First, first is they both want to understand how what romance truly is, how romance actually works, especially in real life. And they also love anime. They are both anime fans. Now things get tricky between them when Derek becomes involved in a series of murders. Partly because all of those murders have anime references. But at the same time, each of those crimes have certain clues that lead to something from Derek's past. There was something about Derek a long time ago, and those murders are trying to expose him for that. So Derek not only has to help solve these murders, but he also has to find out who is trying to expose him, and then what why they're trying to attack him in this aspect. And most importantly, he Derek finds himself having to protect the one person who just might happen to be involved with this secret, which is Kim. So the Secret of Derek Guerrero is not only a crime story, but it has a lot of romance elements and bits pop culture references as well, especially anime. We'll have to see what those are and mixes together, and you might as well want to guess what the secret of Derek Guerrero is. So, yun.
Nakamute pala ako. So, yan, just the right amount to tease our viewers today what to expect in the book. Sabi nga ni Mark, it has that murder mystery element. There's love here. And for those who follow anime, there's a little bit something for you as well. Ayan. So, you have to make sure that you grab a copy of the book para you see how all these elements will come into play. Ayan. And we're gonna give our viewers a little bit more time to answer our question para they can win a copy of the book, and we're gonna give you a few more minutes to answer that while watching one more video from the Heist Club, just to really get everyone in the mood of crime fiction and romance. And how is the author scene right now. So let's watch one more video from the Heist Club. Let's watch this.
With the popularity of Netflix and other streaming services, the crime genre has garnered a lot more interest with the availability of all these new and older movies, series, both fiction and documentaries. We have local shows like On the Job, smaller and smaller circles, and international hits like Money Heist and Squid Games. It seems like people have this clamor for something dark, sinister, violent, even gory. Not sure if it mirrors our desperation because, our eternal lockdown during this pandemic. Which reminds me, I have to start writing down all these quarantine crime stories in my head and target to release hopefully in time for the start of our end of pandemic era. Thank you.
Hi guys, Manuel Bonifacio, one of crime fiction author under Heist Club group, no? Tingin ko, no, malaki ang potential at market for Filipino crime fiction and also crime thrillers, no? Bakit? Kasi everyday, no, mga seemingly innocent people, no? Yung mga nakita natin sa pang-araw-araw like jeepney drivers, ngayon Grab drivers, yung mga delivery men natin, no? And knowing them could build trust, and yun yung magiging weak point ng isang security or safety sa ating bahay, no? I'll add na din kasi alam natin ang political jungle ng Pilipinas, and also yung justice system and its enforcement, no? Yung level ng corruption sa ating government, mga nagpapatupad ng batas, no? Lalo kahit simpleng barangay official o tanod, no? Could have this personal agenda to pursue true crime, no? Para lang makapanlamang, no? O alam niyo yun, magawa niya yung gusto niya gawin sa kapwa niya, no? Yung mga possible na plot o topics for crime fiction thrillers ay medyo mailalim at lawak dahil iba-iba ang bawat Pilipino, no? Yung kanyang perspectives sa pagtingin sa isang kriminal o krimen, o mismong kahit yung mukhang biktima ay siya pala ang nambibiktima, no? Nyo kami sa aming grupo na Heist Club, kaming mga Filipino crime fiction authors na patuloy na magsulat tungkol sa paglalarawan ng aming perspektibo tungkol sa krimen, kriminalidad at hustisya sa pamamaraang malikhaing pagsusulat. Maraming salamat.
Filipinos love crime fiction. There is Ang Provinciano, Wildflower, and even Pangako Sa'yo has elements of crime fiction with blackmail, murder, kidnapping, tightly woven into a very compelling love story. My inventory of Philippine crime fiction novels, on the other hand, consists mostly of works done by authors in the Heist Club community, which was initiated by Miss Mina V.S. Guerra in 2016. And the recent addition to that inventory is The Secret of Derek Guerrero. So congratulations, Mark, and do keep it coming.
Oh, 'di ba? Nakakatuwa naman ang mga messages nila. Very great insights, no, coming from fellow authors in crime fiction and from the Heist Club. Ikaw, Mark, meron ka bang words after hearing those messages?
Yun, once again, maraming salamat sa mga kasama ko sa Heist Club. I keep saying it whenever I can. Marami ako natutunan sa inyo sa ating mga kapwa Filipino authors, especially pagdating sa fiction writing in general. I was able to improve my craft because of your inspiration and your support. And sana magkaroon ulit ng time na Heist Club can assemble again, even in this pandemic, and we can push for Filipino crime fiction again.
Oh, and sana more members can join in, no? Now that they know that there's this club going on, so if you're a rookie or if you're experienced and you want to have a community to share yung mga insights ninyo, why don't you go and check this out?
Might as well, I would also like to thank everyone else aside from Heist Club na naging source of inspiration and strength ko, like of course my family who had been supportive of my writing career, my teachers and mentors from UP Baguio who helped me become an effective journalist, and then I also actually I wanted to save this for last, pero I might as well do it right now. Malaki ang pasasalamat ko sa Paper Cat Books for giving me this chance to get back into fiction writing, especially crime fiction. Kasi yung mentorship program nila ng Paper Cat Books, lahat ng mga tinuro sa akin ni Cass about writing and plotting a novel, and then all of the processes up to self-publishing. It helped me a lot to get myself back on track as a writer, and I guess grow a bit, not only as a writer in general, but as someone who can promote myself as not only as someone with a craft, but as someone who supports writing and self-publishing. So, Kat and the Boldies, maraming salamat sa naging support niyo sa akin, especially ngayon pag sa pag-publish ng The Secret of Derek Guerrero.
That's right. Thank you so much. Shout out sa mga boldies and shout out sa Paper Cat for, once again, getting parang na-energize muli si Mark to create more books and write for the community. So thank you so much, Mark, for that. Now, nalalaman na natin ang secret ni Mark Manalang. Ngayon naman, paano naman nila malaman ang secret ni Derek Guerrero? So why don't you, Mark, let our viewers know how can they get their hands on this new book, The Secret of Derek Guerrero?
Okay. The Secret of Derek Guerrero is already out on Amazon and Google Play. You can just search my name there, and you will find The Secret of Derek Guerrero and the rest of my other ebooks, including the Sampaguita series. But if you want to have your own paperback copy of The Secret of Guerrero, I'm offering it at a discounted price at the moment. You can contact me through my Facebook page if you want for details. You can you can also visit the Papercat Books web page on how to know how to be able to order a copy of the book. Or you can also message me right now, or if you know my personal Facebook profile page, you can contact me there, and then we can and I'll and if you want copies, I'll make sure you get one.
There you have it. The secret's out, you guys. The Secret of Derek Guerrero is now available. And in ways that you want to get it, so ebook, or if you want a paperback version, once again, you can always message Mark to make sure that you're part of the list for to make sure that you get your own paperback copy, and or message, punta lang kayo sa website ng Papercat Books to check out this new book drop. Ayan. And so once again, everyone, thank you for sharing your for Mark, of course, for sharing his secret. Ayan. But now we have one more surprise section, because we did ask our audience about what are some of the things that they learned during this pandemic. And then with the help of Mark, we'll read some of the responses. And again, please remind them, Mark, what they can win if they are chosen.
The winners of this contest will receive a copy of Sampaguita. This city is crying. This is it's kind of unfortunate that I don't have a lot of paperback copies right now, but you will get a copy of the ebook version. It's just as good. Sana sino kaya mananalo ng best comments natin.
Yeah, best comment. ano yan? You can win the Sampaguita ebook, which is a pre-read, to complete the universe. Ayan, so make sure that you comment down below and win, or if you don't win, it's fine. You can get a copy of your own. Ayan, just message Mark on how to grab yourself a copy. But we'll read some of them, because it's all about, the secret's out. So Mark, ano bang mga responses ng ating viewers today?
Okay, let's start with a comment from John Luke Quintana Chica. Oh, hi, John. It seems like every day is an episode of Survivor Philippines. Oh yeah, I'm a survivor. I'm learning to cope with the harshness of reality. Additionally, mostly digital skills, honing my creative skills to be more up to date.
Interesting. So John is learning more creative skills. Ano pa Ano pa ang
Hmm.
mga in-learn nila?
Yan, sabi naman ni Joanne Pauline, I'm continuously learning and improving my copywriting skills day by day. Also, I'm learning to be more patient with myself, especially that every day is just super stressful. Self-improvement. This is a good thing to learn.
Definitely.
Hmm. Casey Lacon says, learning how to make a secret jungle. I mean, indoor urban gardening. Naging uso nga naman ngayon yung urban gardening and putting
Mhm.
up your own gardens sa bahay. Some of them are even planting vegetables and food crops, which is also good.
Mm. And
Let's see.
finally, may isa pang response. Medyo mahaba ang kanyang story, but Mark
Uh,
will help us.
yun. This one is kind of intriguing kasi Chona David says I started studying investment. Sabi niya, I read books and articles in investing. I looked at insurance companies and offerings. Well, let's see. I can see na nag-aaral din siya about deposit products, long-term negotiable deposit certificates, unit investment trust funds, and among others. This one I have to comment on kasi I also invest in stocks. I'm investing in the stock market through Call Financial, and it took me a lot of reading and constant monitoring of the news and the stock market every day just to be able to get a grasp of how investing works. But Chona here is really delving into the actually these are already higher tier learning in my opinion, and it's a really good thing to learn kasi investing especially in this pandemic is something we have to learn to do para magkaroon ng opportunities for earning more money and then
That's right.
securing a future.
Tama yan. So thank you again to those who sent the responses and will continue to send the responses. Of course, Mark will be the final judge ayan, kung sino ang mananalo ng kanyang book, and then Mark will be messaging the winner on how to claim their prize. So again, make sure to comment in this video if you want to make sure that your entry is read, or dun sa thread natin sa Paper Cat Books about this question so that we can scroll your answers and of course announce the winner of our mini contest today. Yeah. So once again, thank you everyone for joining our very intriguing book launch. And of course for joining me and Mark in launching his very first foray into crime and romance. But of course, yun nga, nalaman na natin yung mga secret ni Mark Manalang. Ayan. But of course, Mark, is there any other messages that you'd like to share with our community, or any last few words for them?
Yun, once again, I'd like to thank everyone who came to my virtual book launch and spent time with me here. Marami tayong matututunan later on in the future about crime fiction and its possibilities in the Philippine fiction market. And I hope na if you get interested in crime fiction, you wouldn't take the time to learn more about the genre, learn more about writing it, being able connecting with the people in the know, and being aware of the surroundings that what it inspire what this what this genre is all about. Mm, gusto ko ring pasalamatan ulit for the second for for the second time, everyone who have supported me as in my writing journey up to this point. I'm not really good at expressing gratitude, but I'd like to make it known that I really hold your words in your inspirations you gave me really deep in my heart, and you are the reason I'm still writing crime fiction. I'm still living as an author right now and in the future. And sana makalagpas na tayo dito sa pandemic nito, because we are so much for us writers to learn and improve on, and we have a lot of things to catch up on. Wag sana nating kalimutan na alagaan din natin ang mga sarili natin, not only as authors but as persons and people who have others to who depend on you and depend on. And if you have secrets, whatever they are, they may be embarrassing, they may be out of character, they may be something that may have hurt you or strengthened you in the past. Hold on to them. Hold on to those secrets. You don't have to expose them, but at least make them part of your strengths. Make them part of the weaknesses that push you, that fuel your strengths. And at the same time, if there are people who know your secrets, cherish them, because they will be part of you as much as you will be part of them, as they and you share this secret, whatever they are. Yun. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you as well, Mark, for sharing your journey and your story with us. Parang we felt how pure and genuine your intentions are, and we're so inspired that you continuously learn and try new things. Parang kami din, parang na-inspire kami rin, I want to get out there and do something that I've never done before, no. Kahit na sobrang out of character, ika sabi ni Mark kanina, kahit na out of character, get yourself out there and you will get the support, from the people around you, kasi whatever you give to the universe, it gives it back to you, diba? So, galing. Once again, thank you so much, Mark, for sharing your story, and to all of you guys are watching us today and for joining us. And if you're watching this on replay, thank you, and please feel free to share the link to your family and friends. We will see you again, because our fourth and final author takeover will be happening on October 30. Ayan. So next Saturday ang ating fourth and final author takeover. Ayan. So guys, one more author para makabingo tayo as one community. And I'm sure, Mark, you're gonna be joining me then, di ba?
Syempre naman.
Oo, manonood si Mark. And,
Anything para sa mga kapwa Boldies.
ayan. Oo, tulungan. So one more author in October. So do watch out for that. And of course, magsasama-sama tayo mulit on a Saturday to make sure that, we watch out for the latest book and the latest author to interview. So once again, this has been Core and
Mark. And my
Showing
book,
you-
The Secret of Derek.
showing you a sneak peek of the paperback, The
Yeah.
Secret of Derek Guerrero
Look
by
for-
Mark Manalang.
Look forward when you get your paperback copies. It's coming soon.
Coming really soon. All right, so once again, thank you for joining us, and please do grab a copy of Mark's new book. I-search nyo lang siya. Di ba? Search my name. Ayan, lalabas. ang links on how to grab his book. Or of course, you can always message him directly for a quicker response. So once again, thank you for joining us in our virtual book launch today, and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.